Okay, welcome to the first video of Unit 6, known as Molar Mass. Make sure you're writing these notes down in Cornell note format, and let's get started. So the first thing that you need to know about molar mass is the definition. So the definition of molar mass is it is the mass in grams of 1 mole of a substance. We have not talked about the term mole yet. And as far as calculating molar mass, you're not going to have to know what the definition of a mole is for right now. So right now, just ignore that. But you do need to know that molar mass has a special unit, and it's grams per mole. The next thing that you need to know about molar mass is that there are actually different terms that mean molar mass. So there are 3 different terms that you do need to be familiar with. First one is atomic mass. Atomic mass is something that you are already familiar with. This is the mass of a monoatomic element, aka an element that you find on the periodic table. So if it's a compound that's made of just one type of element, then you just got to look at the molar mass. Molecular mass is for a compound that is a covalent compound. So that would be 2 nonmetals. So if you see the term molecular mass, you're going to calculate it just like you would calculate molar mass. And then the last one is formula mass, which refers to ionic compounds. Remember that ionic compounds are a metal and a non-metal or polyatomic ions. And remember that ionic compounds are made of formula units. So that is where the term formula mass comes from. So make sure you've got all of those written down. So now let's do some examples. So our first example is just Fe, which is iron. So if it's a monoatomic element, all you need to do is look at the periodic table and look at the atomic mass of that element. Now we're going to be looking at the periodic table for all of our calculations, but this is the easiest one to do. So let's go ahead and look at that. So all we need to do is find Fe on the periodic table and look at its atomic mass, which is going to be the bottom number. So the answer is just going to be 55.85. So whenever you write your answer for all of these problems, you're going to find your number, but make sure that the unit is included in the answer, which is grams per mole. Okay, so we're going to calculate the molar mass or the molecular mass of H2O. This is a covalent compound. So again, we need to look at the periodic table, but now we need to find the mass of hydrogen and the mass of oxygen, and we're going to add them all up to get the molar mass of this compound. So all you have to do is find these 2 elements on the periodic table to get their mass. So hydrogen has a mass of 1.01 and oxygen has a mass of 16. So let's go add those up. So if we want to find the mass of H2O, what we're going to have to do is, because we've got 2 hydrogens, we're going to multiply the mass of 1 hydrogen, which is 1.01. We're going to multiply that with a 2. So if you look, that 2 is the subscript from the chemical formula. Then we're going to add that with the mass of our oxygen. We only have 1 oxygen, so we don't need to multiply 16 by anything. So we're going to add 2 times 1.01 plus 16. That gives you an answer of 18.02. And again, make sure that you've got the right unit, grams per mole. Okay, so for our last example, we're going to do lead nitrate or lead 2 nitrate. And so we've got a few more elements that are involved in this compound. We have lead, nitrogen, and oxygen. So we need to find the mass of each of these elements and then add them all up together to get the molar mass of this compound. So all we need to do is find our elements. So if you look at lead, it's got a mass of 207.20. Nitrogen has a mass of 14.01. And then oxygen has a mass of 16. So let's go add all those up. Okay, so we only have 1 lead atom in this compound, so it's just going to be 207.20 plus if you look in our formula, we have 2 nitrogens, so we're going to have to do 2 times 14.01, which is the mass from the periodic table. Add that 2, we've got 6 oxygens, so we're going to have to multiply that 16 by 6 to get the total mass from all of those oxygens. So all you got to do is put this into your calculator. Don't round until the very, very end, and you're going to get an answer of 331.22 grams per mole. And it's that simple. Okay, to summarize this video, you need to make sure that you have the definition of molar mass in your summary, define the different terms that represent molar mass, and then explain how to calculate one example for molar mass.